I'm so glad we could get together today. My name is Susan Shumba. I'm the coordinator of the Power Project at PASAN. I'm also an International AIDS Society Governing Council member and also been a youth ambassador for the same organization.
It's great to meet you again. My name is Gabriel. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a competitive marathon runner from Toronto, a CanFAR National Ambassador, an HIV/AIDS advocate, and the president of the Pride and Remembrance Association. I love to run because running makes me feel unstoppable. It's become a huge part of my identity. Having completed 10 marathons, I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Isn't it so interesting how people living with HIV today come from so many different backgrounds and walks of life?
Totally. Each person's experience living with HIV is distinct. One thing in common among people living with HIV is certainly the impact it has on their lives. It's impressive how you manage to balance being a marathon runner on top of that.
You're right. Every person's journey is unique, and there's no one-size-fits-all treatment when it comes to those of us living with HIV.
That's so true. Let's use the example of a daily treatment for HIV. For many people, this daily reminder can be empowering, a reminder that their HIV is being treated. But for a lot of people, women especially, that same daily reminder of their condition can be difficult, especially based on the old patriarchal belief that women are spreaders of HIV, and HIV can be used to distinguish between the bad girls and the good girls, the well-mannered versus the ill-mannered.
Definitely. This is why it's so important to have an honest conversation with your doctor to understand what options are available and figure out what works best for you.
I find that many people are uncomfortable discussing HIV-related issues with their doctor. But if people reach out to their peers or community organizations for support, they can help to build confidence to bring up their concerns with their doctor. Let's talk a bit about the progress that has been made over the past 20 years. HIV is now seen as a long-term treatable condition. Now the focus is on living and aging with HIV. Did you know that there are almost 9 million people living with HIV who are above the age of 50 years old?
I did know that. Doctors are now looking at the big picture, which includes managing issues that come with aging in general, as well as risks that are more common in people living with HIV, such as the development of other conditions.
Along with that comes the consideration of a treatment plan that takes factors into account and an increased need for communication between people living with HIV and their doctor.
Okay, so Susan, as a Power Project Coordinator, I know you have a unique perspective, so I'd love to hear what you have to say about women living with HIV.
Well, women make up more than half of the adults living with HIV worldwide, but women living with HIV face different challenges than men. I think there is a real need to empower women living with HIV to consider their needs and allow them to think beyond viral suppression. Let's talk a bit about treatment optimization. What are some of the reasons why a person would think about changing their HIV treatment?
For me, simplifying my treatment by reducing the dosing frequency was a big reason because I travel a lot and I'm a very active person.
Definitely. The reasons why may be different for everyone. So people should talk to their doctor if they have any questions or concerns about their HIV treatment.
I feel it's important to know what's in your HIV medication, as well as all your treatment options to really understand how they can affect your day-to-day life or your body over the long term. That understanding can help you find the information that is right for you.
Now let's talk about the importance of taking HIV meds exactly as prescribed.
This is how people living with HIV can get and keep an undetectable viral load. So what does undetectable mean? Generally, to be considered undetectable, a person who is taking the medication as prescribed must also have a viral load of less than 200.
As people get older, they are more likely to have other conditions that require treatment, and this can impact them taking their HIV medication.
Again, that's why it's so important to speak openly and honestly with your doctor to see what treatment works best for you.
I know that fighting stigma in HIV is something that is close to your heart.
Stigma can negatively affect people living with HIV. One way to challenge stigma is through knowing about you equals you. Undetectable equals untransmittable. There's evidence that the risk of transmitting HIV through sex is substantially reduced when a person is on treatment, takes it properly, and the amount of HIV in their blood remains very low. These very low amounts of HIV are undetectable by many HIV tests, which is why it's called you equals you. CanFAR's mission is to end HIV in Canada by focusing on the public's knowledge and understanding of those living with HIV. I want people to see what living with HIV looks like today. That's why I share the message that HIV doesn't slow me down.
It certainly hasn't.
I can say the same for you with your work with the Power Project.
Yes, the Power Project has engaged and empowered women to unite and challenge stigma. But the fight isn't over. Stigma is still a factor for so many people living with HIV.
It can be easy or it can be hard to talk about living with HIV depending on so many factors. Some people may have a ton of support due to where they live, for example, a bigger city with support systems, while others are forced to keep it a secret from their friends and family out of fear of rejection.
And others can feel uncomfortable bringing up HIV-related issues with their doctors. They might not feel confident sharing that they have issues. They don't want to seem as being difficult.
Honestly, that's why communication is so important, especially with your doctor. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today, Susan.
Thanks, Gabriel. Let's do this again sometime.